Hi, my dearest family. So, here is another topic that I wish to discuss with you because you asked about it. What happens if the nodal ruler and the chart ruler are the same? So, let me give you an example. Imagine that you have got one of the nodes, so the north node or the south node in the sign of Virgo. But you do have got, for example, a Gemini rising sign. So it means that in that case, of course, you are ruled by Mercury and your life path. One of the life paths is also ruled by Mercury as well. So this is quite a special condition. It could be a little bit complex, so I'm going to be breaking this down for you when the chart ruler and the north node ruler are the same, or when the chart ruler and the south node ruler are the same as well. So I'm going to be talking about both of the phenomenon in this video. If you would like to have a reading with me, then go ahead. You can book one on my website, AstroViktor.com. And it would be so lovely if you like the video, share the video, comment on the video, and most importantly, subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss these educational videos. It looks like that you guys enjoy these type of videos, so I decided to make them more regularly. So that you can get the education that you need to improve your life with the help of the stars. So, when the planet rules your personality and life path, so basically we've got the chart ruler, which is the ruler of your rising sign, is exactly the same planet that governs our karmic path, and that would be the one of the nodes ruler. Your personal identity basically is the primary vehicle for your soul's mission. So let's talk about the first scenario when the chart ruler and the north node ruler are the same. So what you need to do is you need to locate the north node, also called the Rahu, in your natal chart. For example, I've got it in the sign of Cancer in the fifth house. And then after, you are going to be looking at what the chart ruler is of your own natal chart. So that's going to be the ruler of the rising sign. And for example, I've got a Pisces rising sign. So that means that the chart Jupiter and the moon are not the same planet. However, for example, in my chart, they form a conjunction. So even this could be a scenario when we have got a aspect happening between them too. So this is actually a very powerful alignment of your identity and destiny. You have got your core personality, basically your personal drive, the way you assert yourself in the world. That's what the chart represents in your cosmic map are the exact tools you need to develop to grow into your soul's mission, and that's the North Node. So I would call this constellation as the path of self-actualization. That is the path of destiny here. Basically, the North Node represents what you are here to learn. And what you are here to learn is super linked to who you are. Your personal development is not separate at all from your spiritual path. They are one and the same. So the feeling that it gives you is that, I have to be myself. I am the one who is meant to be fulfilling my purpose. And this is going to be super important to talk about. I am the one who has to be fulfilling the purpose because you will see when the node, south node and the chart are the same, often we follow the path of others. But I'm going to talk about that in a short while. The lessons of the North Node will feel deeply personal, showing up in your personality, your body, your immediate drive. So you can imagine, for example, that you are going to be an athlete. What you are doing actually is that you are using your own body to be able to move forward or to get ahead in life. Your life path, which is also represented by the chart ruler anyway, constantly pushes you into your growth mindset, and that's the North Node. You can't easily just avoid a mission. Your own identity won't let you. So an example is that, like, if you have got a Gemini rising sign, meaning that your chart rule is going to be Mercury, and then you've got North Node in the sign of Virgo, then the North Node ruler is going to be Mercury as well. And your identity as a communicator or a learner is the key to mastering your soul's mission of analysis, service, discernment, and so on. Now, I have prepared two separate videos about this, by the way. I have spoken about what happens when the North Node ruler is actually sitting on the South Node. There's the video that I posted for you a few days ago. So you might want to be listening to that. And I've also prepared another educational video that was very much connected to what happens when the ruler of your North Node and the chart ruler are in aspects. So what happens when the chart ruler is the same as the South Node ruler? It's slightly bit more complex. It indicates that your core identity, your personality, your default settings are deeply intertwined with your past life karma, your inner talents, your comfort zone. So the identity is built on a past foundation that must be leveraged, not just repeated, but leveraged, in a way improved. It means that you were born with a strong ingrained sense of self, which is your self node. The talents and the patterns of your chart ruler are pretty natural to you, potentially easy or even more comfortable. Often these people are going to be identifying with their South Node themes, kind of like maybe they are even going to be saying, this is just who I am. You like it or you don't like it. The challenge is that your primary drive, that's your chart ruler, pulls you back to something that is similar to you or familiar to you, and that's the South Node. While your soul's mission is to move away from that and to go towards something unknown, and that's the North Node. So this can create that feeling of being stuck, resistance towards change. And I think your greatest task is to use that talent of the chart ruler and the South Node as a foundation to leap from rather than kind of like a house to live in. You must consciously use your core identity to help you move forward towards your North Node. So imagine an example. You've got an Aries rising sign, so meaning that your chart ruler is going to be the Mars, and your South Node is in the sign of Scorpio, and that's your traditionally it's also ruled by Mars as well. In that case, your core identity is one of action and independence. Your comfort zone is deep, though, intense and transformative. So this is basically a powerhouse combination. But your mission is going to be the North Node in the sign of Taurus. So you're going to have to learn stability, peace, and you're going to have those grounded, simple values, living life with simplicity. Of course, your fiery Mars identity will resist this, finding it too boring until you learn to use your Martian courage to build rather than just to conquer. And that the conquering element is very Aries and Scorpio, but the building element is going to be very much the Taurian North Node part of your chart. So this is not necessarily easy. So what you need to consider is, of course, the house placement. Where is that planet? The house it occupies becomes basically the primary stage for this entire life drama. If your chart ruler or the North Node ruler is in the 10th house, for example, your identity and your soul missions are fused and will be worked out through publicity or through your career. If it's in the 4th house, then it's more private, more internal, and it's more of a family-oriented journey as well. You need to be looking at the aspects also. Obviously, you can be looking at trines, sextiles, squares, oppositions, conjunctions. Often, squares and oppositions are considered to be challenging, while trines and sextiles are on the easier side. A challenged chart ruler or North Node ruler means your identity and missions are filled with a lot of dynamic tensions or conflicts, but those are forcing you to grow. An easy aspect means that the path may unfold for you more naturally. Uh, you might even take it for granted, though. Conjunction can be special. I would say that that's the most extreme version of this, when the chart rule is also conjunct one of the nodes. Basically your identity is going to become your destiny if it's the North Node. There is no escaping from it at all. This is what you see is what you get type of destiny-driven life. And if it conjuncts the South Node, you know what, your identity is very much defined by the past, and it can give you a lot of talent actually, but it can be the most difficult configurations to overcome as well, because the self becomes the comfort zone, and you must be able to evolve. And those people might have got hardship, for example, to be in relationships. Like I said, I've got the North Node ruler and the South Node, sorry, the North Node ruler and the chart ruler make a conjunction. But also at the same time, I've got the South Node ruler being in an aspect to it. So, and it has always been very difficult for me to be in a relationship because somehow the self becomes the comfort zone. Maybe I have been paying attention too much on the self and on my personal growth, and then I'm not making space for others, if that makes sense. But the other stuff that I wanted to actually talk to you about, a little bit more psychological interpretation of this, because the South Node might be the representation of something that we have learned from our parents. You know, so the South Node, to summarize, represents the past, the comfort zone, the ingrained habits, our innate skills and talents, our habits as well, and what we default to under pressure. So, where do we get our first comfort zone or our first skills or habitual patterns? Of course, from the family, our parents, our early environment. So, you can consider the Southern as being the karmic inheritance. This can be literal family karma, ancestral patterns, or psychological scripts. And these psychological scripts are kind of like handed to you as a child. It's what we absorbed before we had a conscious choice. It feels natural and safe, of course, to us, precisely because it's what we learned from them. So when the chart ruler is the South and the South Node ruler are the same, this can become more pronounced for you. It means that your very own identity is basically derived from a parental ancestral script. So you can identify very strongly with a particular parent or a family lineage. You may find yourself repeating your parents' life stories, relationship patterns, or even career choices, almost without trying. It just comes naturally to us. You can feel those instinctual pulls to these old ways, even if they consciously want something completely different. Maybe you are possessing exactly the same talents, curses, and challenges as well that run within the family. So the whole life journey then becomes about individuation. It's the conscious, often difficult work of sorting through that inheritance. It's about having to recognize the repetition of our parents. So you have to ask a couple of questions. What part of this, what part of this is a gift I want to carry forward? And what part of this is just comfortable, like a repetitive loop that no longer serves me? These would be the two most important questions that you might want to ask yourself. The North Node is going to be the path to becoming your own person, beyond the script you were given by your parents. Use the South Node as a foundation, of course, but you are meant to be building this new, original kind of like house on top of it. Now, of course, if the South Node represents the past, That's our comfort zone, the inherited script from our family and ancestors. The North Node is going to be the future. It's the destiny you are meant to write. It's your own scripts that you are meant to be creating. So it's a conscious, courageous choice to say, thank you for these gifts and lessons, South Node, but now I'm going to use them to build something new, something that is uniquely mine. So when the chart ruler is the same as the North Node ruler, your very own identity is designed to be the tool to break you out of this family pattern because your personality wants to grow. Of course, it's naturally drawn toward your destiny and away from the old comfortable repetition. But if you get stuck in your comfort zone, this is when we are going to lose our parents. This is when, let's say, we're going to fall out with them or all this type of stuff, just to push you towards your North Node. Often, actually, these people might even feel like the black sheep of the family because they do things differently. But these are all essential to being you. Remember that your life path is the path of creating your own new approach. So I hope this makes sense. And it helps you to understand what is exactly the node will want you. There is going to be one more video that I am about to prepare, and that's going to be what happens when we have got a planet that is in square to both of the nodes. So let's say Jupiter is in square to your North Node and Jupiter is in square to your South Node as well. How does that manifest? So I'm going to be preparing a video about that too. So thank you very much for being here, and I will see you in my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.